Alright, we're live. Probably gonna be more laid back cast than usual, mainly because of the fact that this is happening an hour earlier than I was told it would be. This is No Name Gaming in a best of one scrimmage against SLG on Bank. I was initially told by Noopify, I'm gonna just straight up call him out. I was initially told by him that this is happening at 6 Eastern. Turns out it's actually happening at 5 Eastern. He decided to blame SLG. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently SLG did not specify a time zone. So yeah. So happening a bit earlier than I was thinking. Not the end of the world. We'll have to see how this goes. I'm already kind of confused, considering that we're seeing a Nook ban from No Name Gaming. So I don't really know what to think of that. Nook is not Nook unless there's one player on SLG that's a Nook one trick and is absolutely, you know, goated with it. If you want to use that terminology, his hyper thing is going to be trying to spawn peek here with the AUG A3 pointing it down towards that spawn area. Unable to find anybody, unfortunately for him, but did at least attempt it, it appears. I think actually Tank as well looking for it, just trying to get some sort of pick outside, which seems very unlikely considering that at this point, you know, the attack here of No Name Gaming is sort of rotated itself towards top square. But like I was saying, you know, Nook does not bring a whole lot of utility. Basically, if you don't get kills with her, she's a waste of a pick. She does have frags at least, but at the same time, you know, a lot of better operators also have frags. Other bans, Mira makes sense. Not a huge fan of it, but it makes sense because of how strong she is on basement, and you will see her occasionally on a first floor or this site. Less so than on basement. And then Hibana, just generally great for getting those hatches, so that's going to make it a lot easier as Shauner's going to take down Curing there. Removing that Thermite's going to make it a bit harder now for the attacking team to further get into the objective, but at least they did open up that main wall there, that top square wall. Unfortunately, Shooter here holding down the line. At least unfortunately for them. Shauner's going to fall, traded up by Zilix. The Jackal able to just close the sort of a circling motion as Tank will just quickly capitalize on him being, I believe, distracted really by Suki on that stairwell. The Cav pick, a bit interesting. Not a huge fan of it, considering how not great her weapons are and how her kit is very easily countered by just droning. Shooter's Duck's, however, going to take down Muse, and so it's up to just Salty Airs that Nomad, and Sailing going to fall here. Double kill from that Wamai, as he's just going to continue to hold down this wall here. As soon as it was open, it was sort of a can of worms, really, for Salty and the rest of No Name Gaming. Going to run straight into the face of Suki. We'll just quickly pick him off, and that'll be a rather dominant opening round here for SLG. To say the least, a lot of mistakes there by No Name Gaming that ultimately cost them. I don't know how you don't clear out the roam. On this map, pretty much always going to see some sort of roaming, especially against a more aggressive team from what I remember in SLG. And then, you know, just did not seem coordinated. You know, there was not a whole lot of droning. Got caught sprinting right into a guy. You know, just not a lot of coordination, not a lot of communication, and it ultimately cost them. To go back to the bans, because I wanted to talk about that a bit more, you know, the Hibana ban, especially in combination with that Mira ban, is going to make basement a lot really interesting, because oftentimes, especially with teams that are say more strat dependent and maybe a bit less skilled, they will depend on that Mira strat, where you put the Mira on this right wall in red facing CC, and then you put another one here in sort of set cord or onto garage. So without that, obviously it's going to be a bit harder to defend the site, but at the same time, without a Hibana, you have to use a lot more utility, or at least change up your selection to bring some some operators with the can openers, the secondary hard reach charge. If you want to, if you really want to get if you want to get those hatches open, so it's going to make for a really interesting round here. In terms of hard reach, to point that out, the only player with hard reach is Zilix here. He has those 2 charges, so they really need to make good use of them, because if they don't, they're not going to have anything else to push from. And obviously it's going to be a bit difficult now, considering that they don't have that Thatcher that they used last round, and also considering that they don't have any other hard reach. They don't have any other secondary support, really. I mean, they have plenty of support. They have that, obviously the Capital of Zilix, they have Sailing here, and then they have Muse, so they don't have a dearth of that. They just have a dearth of somebody there to really get the hatch open, as Sailing's going to send out an EMP, that new sort of impact EMP charge, I believe that's what it's called. It seems to be an interesting development. I'm not very well informed as Salty will gun down Suki, just punishing him for choosing that Cav a second time. Tank will fall as well. A big pick there for Zilix, actually able to knock down that zombie. Shawners as well. M249 proving to be very useful here for that Capital of Zilix, and for No Name Gaming. They'll take a very heavy man advantage. Shoot at the last one left here. We'll pick one off on that blue shield there. 280S is helping him hold that down. We'll take down Salty, but he's admittedly lost sight. Caught right in the crosshair of Sailing, who will just quickly pick him off. And that was, I'd say, almost surgical for No Name Gaming. They got in. There was no roam there. Instead, Suki is just sitting up on the top floor. And I mean, he did the same thing when they were back on the top floor in the first round. He just sat on the bottom floor, waiting for mid-round to actually make a move. And so all they had to do was just take that, set up the nomads, which they did, and then pop the hatches and push it. I mean, very clearly, SLG was not aware and not prepared, and it didn't even seem to want to try and counter the vertical play that they did. Which, I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular. It was literally just opening hatches and clearing out that room. And then, obviously, Suki didn't do anything. If I remember correctly, Suki had impacts, so could have very easily just popped that stock hatch and at least put a bit of pressure on them from there. But no, just sit up there and do nothing with terrible guns, a terrible ability. You know, you can counter. The reason that I call it terrible is because you can counter it by literally just droning them out. Which every operator has a drone. And, you know, once that happened, it just all went downhill. You know, they lost the man advantage, then they lost control of CC very quickly, just gave up picks, really, and from there they just hemorrhaged. I think part of it was sort of their setup. I feel like they might have overextended a bit, you know, and I feel that they really should have prepared a bit better for some sort of vertical play, because I think ultimately them overextending was really exploited by the fact that they didn't have a proper roam to help cover. If they had a roam that was working well, or if they had decided to go for a bit more of a conservative, maybe more turtle-based, if you wanted to call it that, defense, then I think it would not have been as bad. And then obviously, the root of all problems in every single round is not winning your gunfights, but obviously you can't blame that for every single death. But it's now going to be another basement defense here. We'll have to see how this goes. Now, the final ban, didn't really get to it, is that Valk ban. It's nothing spectacular. You know, it's just, Valk is a very strong operator, brings a lot of value, a lot of utility with that, and a lot of intel with those black eye cameras, so just a valuable pick regardless. Salty going to take some damage there, actually picked off. Headshot by Shawners, who's going to roam above. Zilix just wallbangs him. Curing going to get one here. Shooter actually pushed out there, courtesy of Curing, just going to get a bit aggressive. Picks him off. Now it's up to just Hyper and Suki here. Heavily outnumbered, going to try and make this happen. Gonna try and eke out a round win here, but obviously not the best situation for them to be in, considering that they are very noticeably outnumbered. But I think one thing going in their favor right now is the fact that the attack here of No Name Gaming has seemingly stalled itself. It's not even like they're really being stopped by a defender or anything. They just aren't doing anything. Suki gonna one-tap curing there, stops that Finka from getting any more damage onto the team. It's the earliest scrim I've ever saw. What was it, Cav main? Yeah. At least now he's running Jaeger, but he's definitely there. I'm assuming he's supposed to be there. Fragzilla's gonna get another kill here. Scan goes out, does pick him off. Unfortunately, I believe actually spotted by that scan, and Sailing will just take him down real quick. Yeah, that's effectively a pretty good pincer at the end of the round to help secure it for the attacking team of No Name Gaming, although I would say it was a bit unnecessary. They did have control of, or essentially control, of that locker side, so ultimately not the end of the world, but still well done from them, able to get that done.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can. Ten seconds to insertion.
Barricade up.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers objective is to locate
Alright,
bombs.
another basement hold here. Strangely enough. Mainly because they just lost it and they're gonna try it again. Which, to quote Einstein, although you could debate whether or not this was actually said by him, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I don't know why they don't just go back up top. Or maybe try a sight on the first floor. As that's going to be just another lion scan. I'm not a huge fan of this lion pick. He can be useful, but it really depends on the attack timing those scans properly. I think Suki going to be trying to watch and hold down these hatches here, which they've been opened up pretty much every single time, and they've been the bane of SLG's existence, to be honest. Actually, I think Suki might be trying to Cade trick here. I can't exactly tell. I think it's possible with the little can openers. It's gonna be tough though. Curing gonna actually send out another one. I think he just missed a Gone 6 charge, I'm gonna be honest. Curing picks off Shawners, so they can possibly play the numbers game here, considering they have such a strong advantage in their favor, but they certainly need to be careful if they decide to go after that shooter. Gonna try and push up the stairs, immediately punished by Muse. And again here, it's just everything's falling apart here. The center cannot hold. Falcon calls for the Falconer. As Hyper gonna take a bit of damage now, trying to fall back into gold, gonna take a bit of heals there, courtesy of one of the opponent stations. Tank gonna try and hold down the line here. The last one left against the entirety of No Name Gaming. They're gonna just push him. Scan goes out, Sailing able to finish him off. Flawless round here for No Name Gaming. Will go up now 3-0. Alright, we'll have to see how this goes. Penultimate round of the first half here. As, I mean, No Name Gaming has looked very strong so far, and they're going to just continue to press. It would have been interesting to see Grim in action. Oh, don't think we will be seeing that, though.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And I think there has to be some sort of self-reflection here from SLG. I mean, they just don't know how to hold that basement. And I think part of it is the setup, and part of it is doing the same thing over and over again, and part of it is their own. You know, looking at their setups here, they've been very, very focused on the server side, although pushes have more often come from, especially recently, this vault area, you know, vault entrance, vault lobby, and obviously the hatches. So I don't know why they continue to do it, continue to, you know, heavily play the server area, considering at most you've seen, what, one player run down server. So I don't really understand it. I don't know if they lack an IGL, but I think there's some miscommunication, miscoordination. And in terms of a shootout, because this game has so far been that, you know, neither team has been able to get a plant, though technically SLG shouldn't be able to plant. You know, in terms of just pure, you know, being able to out-frag the other team, very clearly it's a losing battle for SLG. You know, as I mentioned earlier, they just continue to do the same thing over and over again on that side. And then the other part of it is the roam. They don't have a roam. Certainly not on that side. I can't tell if they do on this side. They're doing a really noticeably aggressive roam. Salty gonna punish that Shawners. What were you even doing? Why were you even roaming with Azami? Gonna end up losing a lot of utility, a lot of potentially valuable utility, considering that was the Kiba barriers that he just lost. And Hyper, instead of trying to deal with that pressure, is just going to immediately actually seed Janitor, possibly opening up a new avenue of attack here for the attacking team. I believe air jab, two of them, in fact. Actually, an air jab and a flashbang, pardon me, set up. Don't know why they're going to put down an air jab on that. Nobody's going to flank him from there. It's already a 5-on-4. I think Suki going to be trying to hold off this player on the rappel. It's going to be actually ranged. No, it's actually Muse there on that rappel as the ace. Try and hold down that hallway. Try and provide some assistance. Hyper going to take down one. Curing gets another as Suki will pick off Muse. Removing that ace off of the rappel is going to certainly relieve some pressure from them sailing, and Zilix going to each get a frag. Suki the last one left, and Zilix just lays down some lead and gets the round win for his team here, who will now go up to 4-1 now, eyeing a very, very favorable 5-1 split at half.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
We are now protected. Magnet ready. Reloading. Cover me.
Bomb located by attackers.
Healing station set.
10 seconds remaining.
Bonus station position.
5 seconds left.
Keep it deployed. We have some time.
Attackers are moving towards the bomb.
Electroclaw is on. Ready for grenades.
Alright, final round of this first half. It's going to be a rather aggressive take here, that Osa there. Just putting himself right on that window, getting some intel for his team, getting some pressure on the opposing team as well. Curing going to get a frag onto Hyper. What is the Malusi doing? Shooter going to pick off Zilix, however, brings him now back to even numbers. I don't really know what this Malusi is trying to... Why? Why? I don't know how that even works. Suki is down, so he's basically traded himself. Curing going to get another frag here. So it's basically a 2-on-3. I don't think anybody's going to go out there and try and revive him. Unless there was a Doc who was feeling gutsy. Mew's gonna fall, unfortunately. Kieran gonna get a third kill, however. Shoner is now basically in the hot seat here on a 1-on-2. As Suki is bleeding out, I don't... Is he gonna... Is he trying to do what I think he's trying to do? Because the diffuser's down. I really don't know. I can't tell. I'm not sure. They're trying to encircle me here. Gonna have to deal with some incoming fire from Kieran, just, you know, laying down the suppressive fire, but keep in mind, they don't have the diffuser. I think Shoners might be getting encircled here, and Blue Line just gonna free-fire him. I think he hears him sprinting, and that'll be the round. And the half, as 5-1 split in favor of the attacking team, No Name Gaming. 9-7-4-5-1, 5-4-3-1, 1-1.5. And I'd like to point out the fact that the middle, you know, the third fragger here for No Name Gaming has the same amount of kills as the top frag of SLG. It's not looking good for them. I mean, SLG as a whole, they have, what, 14 kills? Meanwhile, just among the top 2 players of No Name Gaming, that's 16.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So...
Seconds to insertion. 5 seconds remaining. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb. Attackers dropped the diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Alright, let's see how this goes. SLG now up to bat on this attacking half. We'll have to see. Generally, I'd say this map is attacker favored. You know, the only real good side I'd say is basement. The rest of them are alright. Kieran gonna pick off Suki for the first kill of the second half, and that's gonna be a big frag as well, considering there goes Shooter and Hyper. What are they even doing? They just fed 3 kills away to a single guy. I do not understand them. They lost one of their secondary supports, then lost both of their hard supports. How does the Thermite decide to go fragging, first of all? Second of all, how do you get caught on your drone trying to play against a guy that's literally, you know, right around the corner, playing very aggressively, mind you? And third of all, how do you sprint right into him after seeing both of your teammates get gunned down? I don't understand it. And then I think there's a bigger question, which is, why are they running this lineup? This is 5 supports. I mean, this is like Watermelon Snooze level of lineup. And this team is not Watermelon Snooze. Watermelon Snooze is much better than this. I mean, Watermelon Snooze is known for running, you know, Hibana, Ace, Maverick, Thermite, and whoever. You know, they'll run like a Thatcher. That's that 5th. They'll run quadruple hard breach. And the only reason they get away with that is because they can gun. And this team can't. I mean, okay, there goes another one. Blue Line gonna pick off Shoners. Also takes down Tank, and that'll be a flawless round here for the attacking team. The defending team, pardon me. 6-1 now. Bro, what am I watching? I don't know. I really don't know. This attacking team doesn't know what they're doing. The reason that I bring up the fact that their lineup is so defender heavy is that typically the operators associated with fraggers, so Jaeger, Vigil, Jackal, I would say, who else? Ash, obviously. Used to be Blackbeard, but Blackbeard is terrible now. You know, to an extent, Hibana, you know, Do you have you have Shaiko, if I remember correctly, loves to frag his Hibana. Generally, those players, those operators, run a or have are equipped with a stronger gun. Let's put it that way. And as a result, you probably want those players that are stronger mechanically, that are better at winning their gunfights, to be on those players. You don't want your entire team to be on supports because it's sort of a disadvantage, and especially if none of your team can gun, it's just a sign that your team is scared. So I think they've adapted now. I mean, they're running a strange lineup, considering that they have 2 hard supports and no Thermite, no Maverick, no Thatcher, no Maverick, no Twitch, no Flores. Nothing to really utilize as secondary support. I would like to point out the fact that this is, what is that? I think that's castle barricades? I can't even tell. I think it is. That's certainly unique. I have not seen that before. I believe that's because it's the elite castle. Kieran gonna get one here on that roam. Playing a bit aggressively, you know, into paper, and it will end up paying off for them. I don't know why they're droning with a... Oh, for a second I thought they were droning with a Flores drone, and then I remembered. My apologies, folks. As it's going to be actually just, you know, good practice to get that intel, try and push out Kieran here, because he's certainly going to be a thorn on their side if they do wish to continue to press forward here. Yeah, that's the look for the Castle Elite. Yeah, I've been really busy, man. So I wish I could be playing more, but I know that I have other stuff that I need to do that's more important. Suki gonna take down one shooter as well, as Kieran will pick off Sean. Our thing actually traded him out. So now we're back to even manpower here. Shooter down and out, courtesy of Muse. They're gonna now look to put this round away here. It's approaching the final half, really, possibly of the final round. Hyper gonna get one. Brings it back to even, and him and Suki need to get something moving here. I think they were just about to put down a... For a second, I thought they were going to put down a thermite charge on a soft wall, and I was about to be very confused. I am incorrect, though. Just looks a bit similar to that. As you can see, they're going to make their way out of sight. I think they don't realize that, however, his sailing's on the opposite end. We'll pick off Suki, and so it's up to just Hyper. I don't think he realizes, however, as well, Zilix is above here. He's holding a vertical. He's just sitting in Janitor waiting. And they didn't even drone it out. The fact that there's an open hatch above them should be a pretty clear sign. I think Hyper's now going to take some precautions, check that out here. Does not have a whole lot of time, and he does have the diffuser, so he should and certainly could look for a plan. Going to swing around, try and find somebody. However, not quick enough. Zilix pops up, gets the frag, gets the game for his team, as No Name Gaming prevails over SLG 7-1. Dominant performance from them. 14-3, 8-3, 6-5, 6-2, 2-4, 5-7, 6-7, 3-8, 2-7, 1-7.
GG's.
GG.
GG's.